Have you ever stopped and wondered how a gigantic company, say like Tata Motors, with factories and sales offices all over the globe, actually manages to keep everything running smoothly? Well, the secret sauce is something called a digital blueprint. And today, we're going to break down exactly how SAP builds it one piece at a time.
I mean, think about it. It sounds kind of impossible, right? How can one single system handle all that complexity? You've got different products, tangled global supply chains, and just countless transactions happening every single day. Well, that's the puzzle we're going to solve right now.
So here's the trick. SAP basically creates a digital twin of the entire company. It's not just some boring database. It's a living, breathing model that mirrors every single factory, every sales channel, every legal entity, all in a logical, perfectly interconnected structure. This blueprint, it's the foundation for literally everything else. And you don't just like building a house, you have to start with a rock-solid foundation. In the SAP universe, that means laying down the highest level legal and financial structures. These are the anchors for the whole business.
Right at the very top of the pyramid, we have what's called the client. Now, listen up because this is super important. When we say client in SAP, we are not talking about a customer. Not at all. We're talking about the entire corporate mothership. It's the big container that holds everything. So for our example, the entire Tata group would be the client.
Okay, so within that massive group, you have all these individual legal companies, right? That's where the company code comes into play. Each company code is its own independent accounting unit. Think of it as a separate business that needs to file its own taxes and create its own balance sheet. So Tata Motors, that's one company code inside the bigger Tata Group client.
And you can see how this starts to stack up. It's a really simple but powerful relationship. You've got one client, the whole corporate group, and underneath it, you can have many, many different company codes. Each one, whether it's Tata Motors or Tata Steel, is its own legal and financial world inside the system. This one-to-many setup is absolutely fundamental.
Now, alongside that legal stuff, we have the controlling area. If company codes are for the outside world, the official books for investors and the taxman, the controlling area is for internal management. It's all about cost accounting. Where is our money really going? Which parts of the business are actually making us money? And the really cool part is, a single controlling area can look across multiple company codes, giving managers this amazing, unified view of all their costs.
Okay, our financial foundation is poured and set. Now it's time to start building upwards. Let's move from the world of balance sheets into the physical world of operations. You know how things are actually bought, made, and stored.
When it comes to buying stuff, SAP makes a really smart distinction. You've got the purchasing organization, which is all about strategy. These are the people negotiating the huge company-wide contracts for things like steel or tires. Then you have the purchasing group. They're the tactical folks, the buyers on the ground who are placing the actual day-to-day orders for a specific factory using those big contracts that were already negotiated.
Next up is the plant, and this is really the heart of the operation. Now, a plant isn't always just a factory. It could be a distribution center, a huge warehouse, really any physical spot where value is being created or stuff is being stored. And a perfect example, of course, is that massive Tata Motors manufacturing plant in Jamshedpur.
All right, let's zoom in even closer. Inside that giant Jamshed plant, you're going to have specific areas for different things. That's a storage location. It's just a subdivision of a plant, a specific aisle, a certain rack, or a yard where inventory is physically kept and tracked. So you see the hierarchy? The plant is the building, and the storage locations are the rooms inside. So we've got the financial structure, and we've got the operational structure. But none of that means anything if you can't actually get your products to your customers. So let's look at how our blueprint handles the most important part of any business, sales and distribution.
The star player here is the sales organization. This is the unit that's responsible for the whole sales shebang, from negotiating prices all the way to getting the order out the door. For a company like Tata Motors, this would be the division that sells all the cars and trucks and is legally responsible for every one of those deals. Now, in the world of SAP, a sale isn't just a sale. It's a very specific recipe with 3 key ingredients. First, the sales organization tells us who is doing the selling. Second, the distribution channel tells us how they're selling it. Is it directly to you and me, through a network of dealers, or maybe huge corporate fleet sales? And third, the division tells us what they're selling. Is it a car or is it a truck?
And here's the absolute key. You need all 3 of those things working together. This unique combination, sales org, distribution channel, and division creates what SAP calls a sales area. Think of it like a special key. A sales order can only go through the system if it has the right key, a valid, predefined sales area.
And finally, once the deal is done, the product has to physically get out the door. That's where the shipping point comes in. It's the exact physical location where everything happens. It's the loading dock at the Jamshedpur plant, where the new car gets loaded onto a truck, the final paperwork is signed, and it starts its journey to the customer.
Okay, we've put all the puzzle pieces of our digital blueprint on the table. Now for the fun part. Let's see how this whole structure comes to life in one of the most basic, fundamental processes in any business, the order-to-cash cycle. Just look at how beautifully this all connects. A customer calls in with a question. That's handled by a sales office. Then they place an order, and it gets processed by that specific sales area we just talked about. Next, the factory, the plant, gets the order and sends the car out from its shipping point. And finally, the right legal entity, the company code, sends out the bill and collects the money. See? Every single step is perfectly guided by the structure we built.
And this quote right here, it just drives the whole point home. This isn't just some abstract chart on a wall. This structure is the engine that actually runs the business. Every single sale, every transaction has to be processed through one of these organizational units we've defined. It's what guarantees everything is consistent, controlled, and reported correctly across a massive global company. So, what's the big takeaway from all this? It's that this digital blueprint is so much more than an org chart. It's a living, dynamic system that enforces the rules of the business. It's the invisible force making sure the right product gets to the right customer and that the company gets paid the right amount every single time.
And that really brings us to the end. Seeing how a system like SAP can map the messy real world into such a clean, logical structure, it's a really powerful idea. And it kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? How is your own organization structured? Is there a clear blueprint that connects your big picture strategy all the way down to your daily work? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.
For more videos, please like, share and subscribe the channel SAP Gyaan.